Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome back. This is Ron from Ron's Personal Fitness, and today we're going to talk about our cardiovascular needs as far as exercise is concerned. Cardiovascular, of course, referring to the heart and circulatory system that will allow us to be a more efficient machine. So we can't just ignore cardio or cardiovascular exercise, excuse me, and expect to get or reap the benefits of our fitness program. So let's go over the numbers, shall we? We all require at least 150 minutes of exercise per week. Now, obviously, that's 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. It would do us less benefit if we did 2.5 hours on Monday and didn't do any the rest of the week. That's not going to be efficient. So what we need to do is go in and allot at least 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, to cardiovascular exercise, such as walking, jogging, biking, hiking, tennis, some sort of a sport or activity that you really, really enjoy. Getting the heart rate up is the most important part of whatever activity it is that you decide to pick. When we're picking, is it as an effective exercise, we are looking at how quickly and how along the rate that we go, our heart rate is elevated. In other words, if your heart rate jumps up and then you have to quit because it's too fast, too much, too quickly, then you're not going to reap the benefits of that whole 30 minutes if 20 minutes of it is recovering from the first 10 minutes. Okay, so we need something that puts us into a more steady state. There is a program called HIIT, or high intensity training. There is, interval training where you ramp it up and then you back it off, and ramp it up and back it off. But even during the periods of backing it off, we are still experiencing an elevated heart rate that is strengthening the heart and the circulatory system. And how do we know what is a proper heart rate? Well, we're going to take 220 minus our age, and that gives us our maximum heart rate. All right. Now, to burn body fat, we need to be about 60 to 70% at least of that maximum heart rate. So if you're 40 years old, we take 220 minus 40, that brings us to 180. Okay? So that is our maximum heart rate. So now I need to pick, somewhere around 100 to even up to 130 beats per minute to get the exercise component of that. Okay? And, if I get to the point where I cannot hold a conversation with someone next to me, if I'm breathing like this, then I am working way too hard. I want to be able to hold a conversation. I want to be able to talk and breathe and still be able to accomplish both of those tasks. And that will give me a barometer, if you will, that I am in the right heart rate. Okay, if I don't have the luxury of a heart rate monitor or my watch or my Fitbit or something like that, or some part of the machine, let's say I'm on a treadmill and it has the things that you hold on to get your heart rate. If I don't have any of that and I'm out walking with a friend and we're still talking, but with some exertion, I know I'm in the right heart rate. If we're talking and strolling, that's better than nothing, but not much better than nothing. That's more of a normal activity that your body would be accustomed to, and we do not benefit, or in other words, there's no exercise benefit from normal activity. So let's say that you have a very demanding job. Let's say that you're a construction worker or a roofer. After about 30 days of that type of activity, that becomes your baseline of activity. So for you to reap exercise benefits, it needs to be something over and above that. If you had a desk job and let's say you were a receptionist answering the telephone, sitting at your desk 8 hours a day, and an opportunity came along to become a waiter or a waitress, and now you're up and down and running and taking food, and you're really, really changed from being a sedentary at the desk person to now you're moving all day long. Well, the first month of that, your body kind of gets an exercise benefit of that. But after that, it does not. So everything that we think about for exercise has to be over and above our daily normal, or what our body perceives to be normal. And with that, we need to be progressive as well. So during those 30 minutes, let's say it takes me 30 minutes to walk a mile, for example. If I continue 6 months from now and my 30 minutes of exercise is that same mile, I'm not getting nearly the benefit. In fact, you probably notice that your exertion during that time is not going to be nearly as much as it was when you first started, because of your body acclimating to the exercise. So now that we're acclimated to it, we're no longer going to get that elevated heart rate, excuse me, and the benefit that comes with it. So now you may find that you have to walk 1.5 miles at a pace to get you there during that same 30 minutes to get the same benefit. Okay? So if it's starting to become too easy, or you haven't changed it up or added to it or anything like that in a great long while, there's a good chance that part of your stagnation with weight loss or fat loss or anything along those lines could be coming from your cardio component, even though you're still doing the 150 minutes a week. Okay? Now, a lot of people will say, well, I get 10,000 steps a day. Well, most people don't know where that number came from, and I'm here to tell you that that is an arbitrary number. It was literally just picked out of the air by some researchers who were studying longevity around the world. In addition to finding that the populations that ate the least had the longest longevity, in other words, those with an overabundance of calories in their diet actually lived the least, they found that those people, on average, walked about 10,000 steps a day, mainly in some Asian countries and Scandinavian countries, where they'd much rather ride their bike than take a car, for example. And because of the way villages were set up and communities, there's less of a need for them to get into a car and travel as well. So, again, from a longevity standpoint, they found that the people who lived the longest, on average, walked about 10,000 steps a day. So we took, the fitness industry took that as the gold standard of 10,000 steps a day. There's nothing magical about it. It just goes to show you the level of activity that one needs to undertake during their day to keep their body working at a prime way. So we have placed, in my opinion, too much emphasis on this 10,000 steps a day, so that people reach that 10,000 steps and they stop. Or they're, conversely to that, if they're laying on the couch watching television and they look down at their pedometer or their fitness tracker, and they go, oh man, I still need another 1,000 steps. And they get up and do those 1,000 steps. Well, that worked to their advantage. But if you reach 10,000 steps at noon, that doesn't mean you don't have to move the rest of the day. Okay? And I see we're getting a little bit of an interrupted signal here. I hope you guys aren't on your end. So, again, nothing magical, nothing spectacular, just knowing that 10,000 steps a day on average will lead to one's longevity. Okay? So now you know, I've covered everything I wanted to here. You know how much exercise cardiovascular-wise you need per week, 150 minutes. So averaging 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. And by the way, all 30 minutes does not have to be performed at once. You could have 3 10-minute sections of exercise throughout the day and get just the same benefit. All right. Most people want to kind of get it over with, but if you're pushed for time and you only have 10 minutes a few times a day, it'll still count. We know that 10,000 steps a day is arbitrary, but yet we want to achieve that goal for the potential of longevity and better health. We know how to calculate our heart rate and that it needs to be elevated in order for us to burn body fat, burn energy. And when we talk about nutrition, we're always talking about calories in, calories out. This is calories out. This is what we're talking about. This is the expenditure that is absolutely necessary in order to get healthy. And we know how to calculate our heart rate. 220 minus our age is our maximum. And then we're going to take a percentage of that depending on what type of training that we're looking to get into. And for fat loss, we want about 60 to 70% of that maximum heart rate maintained. Okay? And then we want to be able to talk to someone if I don't have a way of monitoring that number. As long as I can talk to the person next to me, not too easily, but not impossibly, then I know I'm in the right range. All right? So that's cardiovascular in a nutshell. And when we go back to our triangle that you see here for our logo, cardiovascular holds just as much importance and balance as does strength training and nutrition. So today is Thursday. Let's see. We have, by Monday, you could be on your 5th day and already well on your way to better health and fitness. Okay, so get those 30 minutes in every day and take a couple days off a week to rest and recover and keep at it. Stay consistent, keep moving, and we'll see you next time here at Ron's Personal Fitness. Bye, everybody.